We're back. Lottie and Mac, Sports on the Sack. LodMac_Yanks. Hit us up on Twitter. We haven't been on there in 2 weeks. Angry Jay's looking forward to some tweeting action. Please get into it with Angry Jay. The Don Father. The Don Father with a new image on our logo.
Looks just like him.
The hair looks exactly like it does in real life, people. So before we get a camera, you want to get a real look at the Don Father? That's the do.
I am not a fat Backstreet Boy. I'm going to say that right now.
Family show. We're not judging people, buddy. Also joining us tonight, you know him as the commish. Why? Jonathan Warren Pettit III applied to be commissioner of Major League Baseball, and I think our game would be in a better place. Pitch clock? What is that?
Ghost Runner?
Commish. Would you ever have a pitch clock?
Absolutely not.
You heard it from the commish, people. We are ready to roll here. It's playoff time. Yanks are down 0-1. But we took care of the Guardians. Let's talk about that briefly. I mean, it's history. Like all statistics, angry, they happen before now. So only what happens now matters. But we got to touch on it. We're big Yankee guys. I was a little nervous. I think Lottie and the angry one both said Yanks in 5. Prophetic, guys. Lottie, how'd you know that?
Because of Boone. We knew it was going 5. And very lucky they got to a Game 4. Very lucky they got to a Game 5. Cole and Cortez saved Boone's bacon, really, with their outings, where he can shorten the bullpen and didn't have to make a lot of decisions in the back end of that game. Hey, we're lucky to still be playing. We could be the Mets, could be the Braves, could be the Dodgers. So let's bring on Game 2.
Positive spin by Lottie, always.
Cole was fantastic. He literally, to me, was the guy who saved the series. Boone and his bullpen. Like, did anybody know what's going on? Like, do we know who he's bringing in? The roles change from game to game, to batter to batter. If you haven't pitched, he puts you in like it's travel baseball. Like, we have one guy closing. He start. I'm like, what?
Are you saying you didn't want
what?
Tyone Game 2 in the 10th inning?
I mean, if we're gonna bring him in at the 10th, can we bring in a reliever? Like, it's not like he got hit hard, but like that's the first time we're gonna use him.
First time ever as a reliever in his career.
134 appearances, all starts.
Is that what it is?
And then the next game we have Schmidt closing. Like,
is that what you call what he did, Schmitty? No, that's right. We bounced right back to him last night. We're gonna get into last night's game real quick. We had a shot. We had Verlander possibly on the ropes. The great Justin Verlander. I don't like him, which is to say I would have loved him as a Yankee. Good thing we didn't go for him back then.
Another swing and a miss by Cash.
Stay hot, Cash. We had a shot. Look, you guys want to talk before we get into last night's game? You want to hit on the roster real quick? Just anybody?
I'll take a listen. Why isn't LeMahieu on the roster? If we're gonna have Cabrera and Peraza on, which I'm in favor of, they need to start like every game. But we didn't start either one of them last night. Wouldn't LeMahieu make sense off the bench as a pinch hitter, at least late in games? I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of seen enough of Donaldson and his pathetic at bats. And
Lottie's
Montas. What is Montas doing on the roster? Like, he hasn't pitched. We made up an injury for him. Hasn't pitched in a month, and now we're bringing him in a 2-run game.
He's the third long reliever in case we need a third one.
My God.
Not that I care that Marwin Gonzalez is not on the roster, but the guy's on the roster for a 162 game schedule. They take him off in the ALCS after he was on the roster, and I think he only got the one at bat, and he played left field once Hicks got hurt. I just think the injuries to Benintendi and LeMahieu are not talked enough about. Those guys make contact. They could be your quasi leadoff guy. We're still struggling. We got Bader in the leadoff spot tonight. It's just rotating up there. Those guys are sorely missed. In terms of the Angry Jay already brought off Montes. The guy hasn't pitched in a month. So he pitches last night, or he even makes the roster, which is shocking. I would have still put Licky on there. I think he's underrated, and with Alvarez and Tucker, I always like to have a second lefty, especially if Wandy's going to give you big outs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, which that wasn't really his role at the beginning of the year. He's kind of evolved into that. I'd kind of like a guy in the 5th, 6th, early in the 7th, like Licky, maybe to get those guys out.
Where you really miss Benintendi is with the contact.
Another strikeout. And a strikeout. strikeout, 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 and a strikeout.
Striking out 17 times last night. Unbelievable. Wanted to throw the remote through the TV. Every time they get up there, they got guys on base. Ground ball's going to score too, right? Swing through it. Donaldson, off balance. Waving at the curveball. Put the ball in play.
Look at the commish. He would have changed the game.
The Astros put it in play. They struck out twice.
All I heard about with the Astros is once you get by Tucker, you're good to go. Well, what happened last night? The bottom of the lineup hurt him.
They got a baseball team. I got a question for you guys. At what point do we put our best 26 guys on the roster?
We're saving them for emergencies only.
Where's Marinaccio? He was in the circle of trust. In the second half, he was their best reliever. He's nowhere to be found. I don't care if he's 80%. Castro made the roster. He pitched like why? Marinaccio was their seventh inning guy when Holmes was on fire earlier in the year, and now he can't pitch. We already alluded to DJ. We already alluded to Benintendi. I get the Benintendi thing. He's not ready to play. But LeMahieu at 50% is better than Donaldson at 100%.
DJ came out and said he's ready. He got hits in a simulated nonsense. The day before the rain out, whatever it was. Marwin again, 162, and then we say thanks but no thanks. At least he's versatile. None of us are Marwin guys. Marinaccio said, "I'm ready." Nothing. The night Holmes didn't pitch, he said, "I'm ready." Nothing. Last night, before the game yesterday, Booney sends out, or there's a quote sent out by Brian Hoke. If we're going to go places this year, IKF has to be part of it. He didn't think that the night before in Game 5? Did he already quit? You know what? We're not going to win tonight because IKF's not playing. So they play him last night. Now this guy that's got to be a part of things isn't in the lineup tonight for the two aforementioned rookies, who I'm pumped. I can't wait to see energy. I don't care if Bader strikes out. I don't care if he pulls a Donaldson. He's got energy, cares. He's running around with the mouthpiece. He's the Steph Curry of baseball right here. I know that's an exaggeration, but I love the kid. And then the other two kids, if we're going to find out, can we just find out now? And by the way, I'd rather lose with them than with some of these other clowns. On to Donaldson last night. Okay, 5-6 guys strike out 7 times. They're 0 for 7 with 7 Ks. Donaldson worked a walk. I'm thinking that guy was cut from the Astros last night. You don't walk a guy who, in his first at-bat of the night, goes down in 5 pitches. The next time, I'm going to get back to this one in a minute, but the next time, 3 pitches, see you later. The next time, 3 pitches, see you later. That's their 5-hitter. In the playoffs, where's Jim Mora? Playoffs?
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
But in the second inning, when Big G hits a double off the wall, 3rd inning, second time up. Second time up, 3rd inning, Big G, he does what he does. He gets hits in the postseason.
Misses 100 regular season games.
Hey, Big G looked
He
good in the
played a
outfield.
nice left field, too. Absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't even have a glove on last week.
Miraculous
Knocked down the
recovery.
scoreboard too, if you saw that.
Jeez, he went from no glove to wearing turfs to wearing spikes to wearing a glove to wearing eye black. Next thing you know, he's catching balls out there in Houston. But anyway, I read an article about Donaldson at some point who said, if you see me hit a fly ball or a ground ball, then I made a mistake. He goes, there are no ground balls. I hit the ball in the air. Big league hitters hit the ball in the air. Can I tell you something? There were 3 infielders on the left side and a first baseman standing somewhere in between first and second base. If Joey won't hit a ground ball, could have just tapped one anywhere, we get a run. That would have been 2-0, right? Or was it? Yeah, it would have been 2-0. Let's say he hits one on the left side, which, by the way, one of the balls on the left side to maybe future Hall of Famer Altuve, he threw away. We're safe because we hit a ball on the ground. And then the space that was available to hit a ground ball on the right side and get a hit, we get 2 runs, 3-0, and maybe Verlander's pressing a little bit. He had a high pitch count. He was almost around 20 every inning. We had a shot. That shot meant we had to put a ball in play. Not only did we not, good morning, good afternoon, good night. He's back in the dugout. What a bum.
You know where I am right now, Bobby Mack? I'm at the point right now. I'd rather see IKF at 3rd. At least he's going to put the ball in play. He's going to get a 15 hopper up the middle.
He only struck out once, and he hit one up the middle.
That's why Donaldson is non-competitive at this. I already know what's going to happen. So I'd rather just have him lead off an inning with nobody on. Like you said, 2nd and 3rd, you make contact. a run comes in, the game changes. I don't want to care. I don't want to hear anymore what kind of third baseman he is. When you play the Houston Astros, you put your best 9 offensive players in the lineup. You have to score runs.
Hey,
Whoever you deem your best 9. I like Stanton in left. I didn't mind Carpenter at DHing, but the guy's had 2 at-bats in 3 months, so my expectations were low, but I was willing to give it a shot against a righty.
Gotta take the shot.
He's not in the lineup tonight, which is fine against a tough lefty. I get it. But Donaldson, and he's batting 5th. He's batting 6th tonight. He batted 5th most of the year when he was playing. Give me IKF at 3rd, or give me Cabrera at 3rd, for heaven's sake, at this point.
Yeah, have you guys seen our hit totals in these 6 games? It's 5, 6, 6, 5. Like we don't get any hits. I'm with Mike. It's about time we put a real lineup. out
5
there.
last night.
Yeah, it's
Big
either way,
J with
the
2.
only way we score is if we hit a home run.
I'm gonna go one farther, and you did a good job bringing that up, Angry J. It's been 8 straight postseason games with 6 hits or less for the New York Yankees. The Bronx Bombers, Maris, Mantle, DiMaggio, Berra, Ruth, Donnie Baseball. It's embarrassing.
Brian Cashman.
Can we put Ruben Sierra at 3rd tonight?
Well,
Go right to Jimmy's after the game. Downtown Bronx Cafe. Jeez. I bet you he's ever even been in Dirty Nelly's down Yonkers.
Well, everybody's been to Dirty Nelly's.
Where's that? McLean Avenue?
McLean Avenue in Yonkers.
What a place. What a buffet they put out. All right. So we covered that bum. You know what? I'm not done. In some other reading or just hearing about him in the past with the launch angle thing, poisoning youth baseball. And he's a bigger guy. He hit a lot of home runs. Came up to A's. I think he spoiled one day at the Yankees
won an
Day
MVP,
game.
didn't he?
Yeah, got an MVP. That was with Toronto?
Yeah,
Yeah, not with us.
Damaged goods.
Toronto.
Oh, without a doubt, damaged goods. But he had a moment, and, he believed his press clippings, hit the ball in the air, it happened to go out of the park. 1, he can't make contact. Number 2, he really compares himself to, like, the Cabreras and the Otanis and, like, the stars and the batters. Star hit 222 in the regular season. Up until that collar last night, he was 222 in the postseason.
He's
I
a
think
guess
that's
hitter. He's a guess hitter. He's trying to jump the pitcher every time, trying to guess what pitch is coming and try to hit it, and it's not working so far. you know?
Kamish, Kamish, I like hearing that because I want to give him something. At least he's got a strategy. Was he guessing last night when he didn't swing at any of the 3 pitches, one of those strikeouts? Because, like, what was he guessing? Ball? I mean, it's Verlander. He's not. But I get it. I guess that's what some of these guys do, and they make a lot of money for it. And sadly, we got to pay this guy money this year and next year, and then their option the next year after that.
Bobby Mack, I don't want to jump you there, but 2 years at $53 million. 2 years at $53 million. You know why the Yankees took him? Because they wanted IKF so bad. So we had to get IKF and Donaldson when all they had to do was non-tender Sanchez, but Cashman was adamant about not eating the $8 million. So we had to take on a bad shortstop who was supposed to be a stopgap. We knew 2 weeks into the season that guy should not be the Yankee shortstop all year long. They had Peraza, they had Cabrera ready. They didn't make the move, so we got stuck with IKF, and with him we bring in Donaldson at 2 for 53. Unmovable. Bad job. That left side of the infield for an ALCS team, absolutely embarrassing.
We did get Ben Rorvit out of it, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of at-bats this
catcher?
year too,
Yeah,
huh?
Another stellar.
He's on the calendar.
Guy pulled his rib cage in spring training. We haven't seen him.
He's in Tampa, taking swings with a wiffle ball bat.
How about the Yankee shortstop for an entire season and no one knows how to pronounce his name correctly? Like, we have to call him by initials.
I can't field.
I can't field.
He can't throw the ball
He
across
is
the
hitting
diamond.
300, by the way, in the playoffs. You notice that?
Is he?
That's the one guy who can put the ball in play.
The problem is
He really
fielding,
drives the ball too
Yeah.
to the gaps.
fielding percentage is 300.
Yeah, that's true.
God, it's frustrating.
Enough of that. Let's take a spin toward Positive Town, Yankee fans. This next moment brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. What's our prediction for tonight and the rest of the series? And by the way, by people hear this, the game will be over. I'm going to start us right off. We're winning tonight against the lefty. I think Stevie comes out electric. I think he gives up a 1 or 2. And bombs, But I think we're going to score for some reason tonight. Judgy's got to have one postseason game where he has a couple. And I think maybe tonight could be that night.
Stanton and Judge, they have to combine for at least 5-6 home runs in the series. I think for the Yanks to have any chance. I'm going to go Yanks tonight just to be optimistic. I don't think they win the series. I think the Yankees starting pitching is fantastic. I love Cole, Cortez, Severino. Tyone, he counted himself very, very well last night. Well, again, not the
Why do we take
revisionist
him out?
history.
Why do we take him out?
60-something pitches in 4 1/3 innings. Why? It's unbelievable. Could we let this guy go 6 innings? He's not a bad 4th or 5th starter. A lot of teams would love to have him.
It's like a throwaway game. Like the first game of the ALCS is we're bringing in Schmidt and Monta. It's to me it's ridiculous. I like to be as positive as you guys. But you guys don't call me Angry Jay for nothing. I'm not feeling it. Like I hope I'm wrong.
You're not feeling it tonight or for
I
the
don't
whole
feel
series?
it tonight or the series.
What do you got, Angry?
I'm Astros tonight and the Astros in 5.
Guy's angry.
Astros in 4.
Commish
I
with
hate to say it. I was named the most pessimistic for my superlative for high school. So I guess that fits well, but I don't see them winning tonight. I don't see them winning the series. I don't see them winning any games.
Even the Don father probably takes the Yank to win 1 or 2.
Oh, yeah. Astros tonight. Astros in 6.
I got the Astros in 6 too. God, I hope I'm wrong.
Yanks in 6. I gotta believe. Big G. You gotta have Big
Yanks
G.
in 6.
So, hopefully, people, you could figure out that our Stay Hot Cash moment, our Stay Hot Boone moment, our Stay Hot Math Department moment of the week was donated to Josh. I don't hit ground balls. Mr. Launch Angle Fraud Donaldson. Back after this. All right, we're back. We're moving on to the Who Would You Rather segment before we get to the Don Father's football.
Father.
The father in the house. Look at the logo. Look at the hair. Hal Steinbrenner in the house. All right. We got some interesting Who'd You Rathers today. We're going to go across a decade or two. We're going to take some of the best quarterbacks, to me, in order in the 80s and pair them up with the best quarterbacks currently, last, let's say, 10-ish years since maybe Peyton Manning. So off the bat, you could say it quick or elaborate just a tiny bit, but Tom Brady to go or Montana? Lottie.
Montana. I just don't like Tom Brady. I'm sorry. I don't have an in-depth explanation of stats. I just Montana in the 80s for me when I was growing up. Loved to see him in the 4th quarter go down the field.
I'll go Brady. It's hard to argue what his career has been.
I'll go Brady, hands down.
Commish
Hands down?
abstaining from this segment. Guys, I got to go Montana too, and I hate to do this. He's part of one of my least favorite highlights of all time to Dwight Clark in the corner of the end zone. I still look at it and hope the guy drops
Everson
it.
Walls, come on.
Stop it.
Make a play
He's
on
gotta
that
get
ball.
up. He's got to get up.
Just because you like Skechers.
Relax. So Brady is just weird now, and like one of these times he's yelling at these 300-pounder guys. I want one of them to just lay him out. He's yelling at people with these. He looks like he's had some surgeries and like too much avocado
his
ice
face
cream.
doesn't look right.
He left a pretty decent family situation to get beat up at 45 years old. I get it. I want to play forever too. I want to go back to the Little League. I want to be in the big leagues. It's not in the cards. He's 45. He's 45.
He's still pretty good. I mean, let's
No
be
one's saying he's not
realistic.
good. He's screaming and hollering at these young guys that would twist him into a pretzel, and you can't do it because it's him. One of these other, Cooper Rush does it. You find him in tied to the goalpost. I take Montana.
How'd he do on Sunday night?
Relax. We play you twice. Peyton Manning, Dan Marino.
That's a great question.
Good one.
I say Peyton because I love Peyton.
Peyton Manning, and I don't think it's close.
I go Manning just because he's funny as hell, too.
Commish?
I need to go with Manning.
You're going to abstain for this one, too?
Come on, Commish. Get in there, Commish.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Marino.
He had isotoners on. Remember those commercials?
Yep. He won a lot of championships.
No, come on, man. It's not about that. He's playing on a team. How
Race
many
is
guys
out.
on
It's
a
gotta
roster?
be Race is out.
It's got to be part of it.
Marino could sling it,
Peyton
though.
stunk in that second one. They didn't even pass
The
it.
Marks brothers, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, and he invented the fake spike, dude. Marino.
It was
Yelled at
against the
his teammates.
Jets,
So,
though.
are we in agreement, Marino?
Manning.
Pate.
Pate.
Come on, man.
Marino.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. Rodgers and Elway. Aaron Rodgers, John Elway.
John Elway.
Elway.
He's
And that hurts.
Had
From
to-
a Browns fan, that hurts. Elway.
had the it factor. One of those guys in the fourth quarter, we thought he'd just win the game for his team.
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Tough. I think you got to go Rodgers.
I feel
gotta
like
go
for me,
Rodgers.
that's an easy one going Elway.
These guys are clueless, Mike.
You know what? Elway also soured. I don't like Rodgers at all, but Elway soured me when he hosted the ESPYs that time. Did he host the ESPYs?
Who
Oh
watches
no,
it?
he
I
didn't.
think you're the
He
only
didn't
one that
host
watched
it.
it.
He was roasted by whoever the host was, and he cried about it. I don't like crybabies. All right.
Well,
The
how do you
next
like
one.
Aaron Rodgers then?
I don't like him at all. I just think he's fantastic, and he's ended the Cowboys season more than once. It's tough for me to say. I don't like him one
He's
bit.
been bad this year.
Yeah, he's
but
got too many opinions on stuff besides football. I don't like him at all. I just think he's awesome, and I hated Elway. Drew Brees,
You hated Elway. Oof.
Dan Fouts.
I'm going to say Dan Fouts, and I can't stand Drew Brees, so for me it was a no-brainer.
I'll go Drew Brees. He's a 6-foot guy who shouldn't be in the NFL. He is an all-time great. He's a top 5 passing yards. Are you kidding me?
I'm going to go Breeze, but that hurts me a little bit because I was raised on Dan Fouts. The 4 o'clock West Coast game, Chargers, Raiders,
Air Coryell.
Chargers, Chiefs.
Alcoa can't wait.
Alcoa can't wait. And when he got out of the, when he took the snap, he backpedaled like just a square. Remember, he would just backpedal straight up, and then he'd throw it to Jefferson or Muncie out of the backfield or Brooks out of the backfield. I just love those 4 o'clock games with Olsen and Enberg on the
Joyner?
call. Charlie Joyner.
Kellen Winslow.
He was okay.
Winslow was, he was a decent tight end. But I'll go Breeze because he won a Super Bowl. But I think the only time Fouts even got to the AFC Championship was when the temperatures were below 0 in Cincinnati. That guy had no shot that game. But I'll go Breeze.
I'll go Breeze as well. Who dat?
I'm going to say Breeze, just because I think it's amazing that a guy at his size is able to sling it like that and find those. These little guys now, Baker and these guys getting the balls batted down. Never an issue for Breeze, and he was tiny.
How about Miami? How do they feel about Breeze? The Finns.
Oh, I know, right? Hey, Naylor. Right? Carrying him around like a little one. All right, last one. For me, no-brainer. Can't wait to hear what you guys say. Big Ben, Warren Moon.
I think Warren Moon's one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time.
Championships? Just saying.
Canadian Football League, though.
Yeah, they got a 400-yard end zone. It's like playing in a parking lot. It's like a
I think
recess ball.
and I think you only get one down to score or something like that. Isn't it crazy up there? You get 3 downs. I can't. As a Browns fan, I cannot go Big Ben. I just can't. It's in my heart. I'm going Moon.
Warren Moon, one of the pioneers for quarterbacks. Cannon for an arm. Roethlisberger, you're just talking about, he did have 2 Super Bowls. You're talking about horrendous in a Super Bowl. The first one against Seattle. I mean, and a loser of a human being. So I'm going Warren Moon.
I'm definitely go Big Ben. Warren Moon threw probably the prettiest ball I've ever seen in my life. I think Big Ben. I mean, 2 chips. The guy ran. It was 3rd in quarterback rushing for at least 3 seasons at his size. I mean, Big Ben.
I too will go with Warren Moon, based on Ben's lack of character.
The Don father with a homer pick there because he's dying for us to bring up Peyton Manning's brother and bring the championship thing into it, Hall of Famer, this and that.
no debate.
chance. No chance we take everybody
Where
over
did
him.
Moon go to college? Come on, boys.
Washington.
You got it.
The
Washington.
Huskies?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Huskies, Kamish waiting to chime in later. We're going to go to a little NFL talk right now. Don father, watch any football this weekend?
I watched too much football this weekend, actually, and ended up with another doozy on Monday night. So, guys, tonight, again, I apologize. There is a Thursday night game. It's going to be probably another train wreck of a football game. If you've watched, you've seen no team score more than 12 points in the last four and a half halves of Thursday night football. Nobody scored more than 12 points. That is awful. That's a great investment by Amazon so far. But again, tonight's game, Arizona, New Orleans. Andy Dalton's starting again for New Orleans. So somebody else that's going to dump the ball to Kamara the entire game. Saints are banged up. Arizona, they got D-Hop back. That's the one intriguing part about the game tonight. How is DeAndre Hopkins going to factor into the offense? Is he going to be a number one receiver right away? Their number one receiver was Hollywood Brown. He's now out for 6 weeks, so you can look at it as good or bad timing for the Cardinals. But anyway, they got no Hollywood, and they do have D-Hop, so it's going to be really interesting to watch. Not a lot of guys I'd start for fantasy. Kamara is a no-brainer. I guess you start D-Hop just because Hollywood's not there. Kyler's not been good. If you've seen, Kyler's had 2 good games and 4 bombs after that. But some news and notes from the season last week. I was just going to poke and prod Angry Jay a little bit on the Eagles because they are undefeated, the only undefeated team. And you look at their schedule. Anybody here, tell me when you see their next loss. They have a bye week this week. It's going to be well rested. They play against Pittsburgh. They play at Houston. They have the Commanders. Are they going to lose any of those 3 games? No chance.
Angry?
Divisional matchup?
Pittsburgh will be a problem.
No, they won't. That's 9-0. Then they have the Colts, which could be tough. They're playing better football. Packers, Giants, Bears. I'm a Giants fan. They can beat anybody, but the Eagles they're tough, man. I'm looking at 12-0 on the schedule, and they still got to play the Cowboys once more. They got the Giants again. I'm not an Eagles fan. I actually hate the Eagles, but they are really good. And as I said, you can't start anybody against them. CeeDee Lamb played against Darius Slay for the first half, 1 catch. So he went off in the second half, 4 catches for another 40 yards. So he only ended up with 5 catches. Guys, I've said this all season. When you start putting your lineups in, fringe number 2 receivers, do not start them against stud safeties. Patrick Surtain Jr., I told y'all last week, watch Mike Williams. Patrick Surtain gives up 1.3 yards per route. Last week, Mike Williams, 2 catches for 17 yards against Patrick Surtain. I'm telling you, I don't care who your receiver was, unless it's Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, do not start somebody against Patrick Surtain. You will not get 50 yards. You will not get in the end zone unless he's not on the field. Sauce Gardner, man, guys creeping up. Every week, Sauce Gardner makes a big play. He's not giving up any touchdowns. Last week, he gave up, actually, good stat on Sauce there, Bobby. He's the second rookie ever to defend a pass in his first 6 games in NFL history. Only 2 ever. Sauce Gardner, and who's the other one? Nobody's going to know this one. But he went to the University of Washington also.
Sidney Jones.
Close. Desmond Trufant. Little trivia there. By the way, Denver Broncos, they've been on 4 times in 6 weeks. It's an absolute abomination that the Broncos continue to be on national TV. 4 primetime games in 6 weeks. Luckily for us, they're not on primetime this week, but they still have 2 more games where they're going to be on primetime. It's awful. The Broncos, 7 touchdowns and 69 possessions. That is the worst in the NFL. 7 touchdowns, 69 possessions. So a little stat here and see if you guys can guess a little trivia question. So they have scored 17 or less points 5 games already this year. Russell Wilson, 17 or less. Peyton Manning played 57 games in Denver. We know he had 1 season where he was a little off offensively. But how many games did he have where he scored 17 or less points in his 57 games? Russ is 5 out of 6. Peyton Manning, 17 or less points in 57 games.
1.
How many times?
I'll go 3.
Well, he just took. I'll go 4.
It was 3. That's and they're paying this guy $250 million. He's already done it twice as much almost as Peyton Manning in 1/3 of a season.
Broncos country. That's right.
And again, not a Broncos fan, folks. But
Deshaun Watson's making $250 million too.
And he almost has as many 17-point games as Russell Wilson. Falcons guys, are they real? Are they a joke? Falcons are 3-3, tied with the Bucks, and their 3 losses are a combined 11 points. 11 points in 3. They're literally 11 points away from being 6-0. Now they got a tough game against Cincy this week, but they're 2 touchdowns away from being undefeated. I mean, they have a good team. They don't have a great offense, and their coach is doing a great job, although I can't stand him. If you have anybody in fantasy in their team, you want to throw yourself off a bridge. It's painful to watch, but again, the Falcons, they have a great cover guy in Terrell. Nobody scores against the guy. He held Debo last week to 70 yards, no touchdowns. That's really good against Debo Samuel, where the game script meant you had to throw the ball all game. He did a really great job. I think, one more trivia question. Oh, little note on tonight's game, by the way. Andy Dalton starting tonight. He is the only quarterback in NFL history to lose 4 straight primetime games by 17 or more points. Ding, 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 ding. We'll throw that in your grab bag there, Dalton.
Stay hot, Andy.
Stay hot, Red Rifle. Sorry, Red Raider's a gun. All right, one more note I did have. Where is it? Miami needs Tua. Beginning of the season, they were looking to trade. They wanted to get Tom Brady. They wanted to get Deshaun Watson. Guess what? 3-0 with Tua. People had him at the top of their power rankings for the NFL. As soon as Tua got hurt, 0-3. No Tua, no wins for the Dolphins. But he's back this week, so let's see what happens. Okay, guys, I do have a trivia question. It's a fun one. Patrick Mahomes threw his 168th touchdown last week. Tied for second for most touchdowns in his first 6 seasons in the NFL. Who is he behind right now? He just passed Peyton Manning. I'll tell you.
I'll go Marino.
Six seasons?
Yep.
Did they throw it enough back then? I know Marino was awesome.
He's 28 behind who he's trying to catch.
First 6 seasons playing, or his first 6 years?
First 6 seasons playing. 2017, Mahomes only played 1 game.
Brett Favre.
I'll go Aaron Rodgers.
Danny boy?
Waddy got it. Waddy's two for 2 for trivia tonight, Waddy. Somebody's been studying. All right, guys, who's
Hold
the
on,
worst?
hold on.
I have a lot of useless information.
Marino is ahead of Manning on that stat?
In his first 6 seasons, he was ahead of Manning.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
By how many?
27 over Manning.
I think Manning's rookie year was a little spotty.
He led the league in receptions his rookie year, Manning.
Okay.
All the experts in the room with me took Manning. Jeez.
Last
Marino.
question.
2 Super Bowls.
Who's the worst
Great.
team in the NFL?
Gifts.
Who's the worst team in the NFL? 4 teams have 1 win. Raiders, Carolina, Houston, Detroit.
Not the Raiders.
I was thinking none of us think it's the Raiders, right? They're not one of the worst teams in the NFL. I eliminate 1 more.
Carolina's the worst team.
I'd
Yeah.
eliminate Houston. I'd say it's
Yeah.
Carolina. Oh, no, I'd eliminate Detroit. Carolina, Houston. Who would you favor on a neutral field? Houston, Carolina. Who's favored?
Damian Pierce? You kidding me?
I agree.
Houston,
runs all
Carolina
over.
is a Thursday night game next week, right?
Over under 22.
Hasn't it been every week?
All right, that is it for news and notes. Bob, do you want to go over start and sit 'em, or do you want to put that on Twitter?
Start him, sit him. Let's go.
All right, I'll run through it quick, guys, since I ran long. All right, quarterbacks. We're going to start Joe Burrow against Atlanta. Burrow's been trending up. 4 TDs last week. He's been absolutely on fire. Throw him in your lineups if that was ever a debate. My man Dak. Bobby's man Dak. He is back. He's playing Detroit. What a present to come back to the field with. They are the worst defense in the NFL, giving up the most yards. Start Dak. Start CeeDee. CeeDee's going to go off. And a surprise start, Jimmy G. Game script is going to dictate he's throwing against Kansas City. Kansas City's going to score. I don't care how good San Francisco's defense is. They're really banged up. They're going to be behind. They're going to score. I'm going to pair that with Debo. Stack those 2 if you're in DFS, anything like that. Throw Debo in there with Jimmy G. I think that's going to be a good stack. Bench, Russell Wilson, we already said it. Every single week, he's just awful. And he's playing against the Jets, who are actually way better than we all thought. Daniel Jones, don't really need to say that. And Jared Goff, he's put up some good numbers, but Dallas's defense is nasty. The only quarterback to really play well against him was Hurts, but Dallas's defense is top 3 in the league.
Doomsday.
Dak coming back too, no?
I'm hearing the NFL NFL films theme in the back of my head right now.
Doomsday. Ed Too Tall Jones and Randy White.
The Manster. Don't forget about Harvey and Hollywood.
All right, pivoting to running backs. Austin Eckler, he had 10 catches on 14 targets last week. He's a running back. That's ridiculous. 6 TDs last 3 weeks. Seattle's awful against the run. Start him. Jonathan Taylor, I'm getting some cross-eyed looks. He should be back. Remember last year, folks, Jonathan Taylor was not in the top 20 of running backs after the first 4 weeks of the season. He ended up number 1, and it wasn't close. He always starts slow. He's kind of had a couple weeks to recover his body, rest. Hopefully his legs are better. He's going to start. If he starts, I think he's an absolute start against Tennessee. Tennessee's playing a little better, but they still can't stop the run.
If I'm a fantasy guy, I'm trying to trade for him and buy low. You know what I mean? I'm trying to trade for Taylor. That's what I'm doing.
I proposed a trade
Now's the
today
time.
for Jonathan Taylor and got laughed at because they think that he's going to be a top running back at the end of the year. I don't think he's going to be a top running back, but he's not going to be 26th or whatever he was after the first 4 weeks before I got hurt.
You'd be a fool not to pick him up.
He's a huge, he's a huge buy low. I get another guy I'd trade for it now if you could, Kenneth Walker. I don't know if anybody's going to trade him because he had a good week last week. I did say start him. He had 100 yards and a touchdown, a few catches.
Remember when he got the 360 dunk in the dunk contest?
Sky?
Yeah.
I remember him in the NBA Jams
Kentucky.
video. Remember? Yeah.
What number was he with the Celtics?
Kenny Walker. Did he play for the Celtics?
Excuse me, Knicks. When he won
34.
So it was 7. It was
Oh,
7.
it was 7.
And he had the chain on.
Kentucky, he
and
was
the
34, I think.
His range went to about 7 feet too.
Underrated dunk in the dunk contest. That was a crazy 360 when he
was
cupped
so
it.
underrated in the dunk contest.
When Patino got the
Terrible
Knicks
player.
job and Kenny Walker was still on the team, Patino said he was the least fundamental player he had ever seen.
Terrible player.
Skywalker?
Terrible.
A couple other running backs, guys. Kamara, big game for him, and Fournette. Fournette's playing against Carolina. Fournette's third in touches in the NFL behind Saquon Barkley and who's number 2 in touches?
Austin Eckler.
That would have been my guess. Joe Mixon. Not putting up the numbers to
Man.
back it up, but
Man.
second in touches this year.
You got to step up.
I would keep those guys in your lineup. Bench Najee and bench Edwards-Helaire. San Francisco's not going to give up receptions to Edwards-Helaire. They're really good on the outside. Watch that, and that's how he makes his living. He's not running up the middle. He's going to catch those passes. He may get a lucky touchdown with 8 yards to boot. That's about it. Receivers I went over. Debo, CD, start Pittman. Bench Juju. I think that he's kind of peaked. San Francisco's really tough on receivers. I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start Brandon Cooks, although I have to in one league because of bye weeks against Vegas. Vegas is really good against receivers. I just read a stat. They give up 6.8 points a game to receivers who line up on the outside. Cooks makes his living on the outside. So keep that in mind. If you have him, he's kind of probably a fringe number 3 receiver. Bye weeks, you may have to start him. If you don't, I wouldn't. Again, I do. Last one's tight ends. You're going to start your regular guys. Bench Gesicki. He went off last week. That's his second 20-point game of the year. The other games, all single digits. He's not a stud. He's also on the trade market. Apparently,
I just saw that. I was going to say.
Yeah, Miami wants to trade him. There's a reason. They franchised the tight end for $11 million, so no team's going to pay the $11 million for him. I don't know why they would franchise him, but they did. So anybody wants to pick him up, they're paying an $11 million contract and a tight end who's had less than 3 catches 4 of the 6 games this season. Last note, Bob. Yep, it's not fantasy. Last quick note, tight ends. There's been 37 tight ends so far this season who have been ranked top 12 for the week. 37 different tight ends have made the top 12. Only one has made the top 12 every single week. Who is it?
Mark
Kelsey.
Andrews.
Zach Ertz is the only tight end to make top 12 every single week so far. Andrews and Kelsey, both 5. 5 out of 6.
Eagles let him walk away. All right.
To you, Bob.
Moving on to
They got
picks.
a better one now.
Relax. I like the guy's first name in Philly. What's his first name? Angry?
Last name is Goddard.
Oh, goodness. All right, everybody. I'm on the board. I knew it. I knew last Thursday was going to be an interesting matchup. I know everyone was going to be glued to football. And the Chicago Bears took care of business. I'm on the board, my first W, and I'm going to get my second one in a row this week. Doomsday. Doomsday over the Lions, given a tutty, I guess. I don't care what they're giving him. Dak is back. CD's ready. Schultze in the lineup from Hogan's Heroes. We're ready to avenge last week's loss to the overrated Eagles. And that's my pick, the boys.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I'll go the Titans minus 2.5 because I'm really looking forward to the commissions segment upcoming. So Titans minus 2.5.
All right, I'll bounce it around. I got Green Bay at Washington. Green Bay giving 4.5. I think they bounce back after a couple tough weeks. I think Rodgers finds his groove. No Wentz for the Commanders. I'll give the 4.5, and I'll take Green Bay.
No faith in Heineke, huh? All right, I am going to go with Kansas City minus 2.5 against San Francisco. KC coming off a big loss on TV. San Francisco is too, but I think you put Mahomes in a tough spot. He seems to deliver. So I'm going to go with Kansas City minus 2.5 points.
Okay. Wow, am I back in this thing? Whew. Wow, am I back in it?
By the way, Bobby, shows you how Vegas always wins, right? Week 1,
I'm always going to win.
Angry J won. We all lost. Week 2, we all won. That didn't count, Waddy. And Angry J lost. The house always wins. They make the
I
vig.
think I'm undefeated. No?
I don't think so.
No.
You might want to roll the tape.
All right. Couple more who would you rathers getting into the NBA over-unders. We're just going to do the Eastern Conference. That's it. Next week we'll do the Western Conference. There'll only be a game or two played by each team. Won't make a difference, but we got some baseball to watch tonight. And we got a special segment by the commish. Baseball expert. Not going to be talking about baseball. Talking about hoops right now. Who would you rather? Maxey or Jordan Poole?
Maxie.
I'll go Maxey. Love his upside.
I'll go Jordan Poole.
Only if you have smelling salts, because I don't think he could. I don't think he has his bearings about him after his great teammate
Yeah, I
slugged him.
think Draymond might take Maxie.
He's got a hell of a chin.
Draymond's a troublemaker, man. He's doing everything he can do to sabotage it, so they have to get rid of him. He's dying to play with his buddy LeBron, and I bet you he's going to do everything he can to get Curry to go with him. I don't think Curry'd ever do it. All right, Luka or Giannis? Athletically, there's no contest.
Love Luka,
Talking-
got to take Giannis.
Giannis is the best player in the league.
Giannis.
I want to go Lucas so bad, but Giannis. Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum.
Tatum. He proved it last year.
Tatum.
Oh my! This is talking about a no-brainer. Tatum, hands down.
Jimmy Buckets is an animal, though.
Yeah, not in the same
talk ab-
class as Tatum.
Talk about a
Not
foxhole guy.
not every game, though.
There's only one reason it's close for me, and that's that step back thing he does too much of. JT, not to be confused with Timberlake, but he's just more. He's built bigger and more talented and younger. So you got to go JT.
When Butler wants to play, though, in a big game in the playoffs, he's fun to watch.
All right, boys. Over-unders, win totals. We're going to go right down the Eastern Conference alphabetically. You got the Atlanta Hawks, 45 and a hay. Quick.
I'll go over. Easy.
Under.
Under.
Going over, Trae Young. Celtics, 53 and a hay.
Over.
Celtics over.
Close, I think.
I'm going to go under. That's a big number.
Big team.
Going over. I mean, the bench is like...
Studs everywhere.
Yeah, the bench is rebuilt. Looks good, pretty good. Not even talking about Blake yet. Brooklyn Nets, 50 and a hay.
Under.
Under. This is comical.
Under, just because I hope they flop big time.
I want it to be under. I just think that they're going to make the talent work and go over and be a problem at the end. Charlotte Hornets, 34 and a half.
Under.
Under. They're horrendous.
Book Night had a big week. I'm going to go. I'm going to go under.
And they cut ball. The bad one. Under. The Bulls, 41 and a half.
Over.
I'll go under.
That's my first over.
Going to go over. Young and talented. Cleveland Cavs,
What's the over-under?
47 and a half.
Under. I like them, though. But
Over. They're extremely talented. One of the better teams in the East. Top 4 or 5. I'll give them.
I'm going slightly under, but they are fun to watch. You're right.
this player almost lost his eye last night.
The young guards are going to be special. They're going over. Pistons, 29 and a half.
Under.
Over. They play their butts off.
Cade, over.
Suggs, too. I'm going to go over. Pacers, 23 and a half.
Under because they're going to be in Tank City halfway through the season.
I'll go over. Halliburton's tough. I'll agree with you. You're going to see a lot of teams just in complete tank mode, especially with Wembanyama.
Frenchie?
Yeah, he's tough.
23 and a half. Wow.
That's a low number.
That's terrible.
That's almost 60 losses. I think they win 24. Over.
Sucker bet. I'm going under. The Heat, 49.5. No Wade.
That's a huge under for me. They're not anywhere as good as they were last year. Butler slowing down. Hero thinks he's a hero.
Oh, they gave him
And
big
they're-
money.
Yeah.
Oof.
I agree. I think they're going under.
Under as well.
My man Wade comes back. They're going over, but they're going under. Milwaukee Bucks, 52.5. One
Over.
less than the Celtics.
Over.
Over.
Over as well.
I think they're going to go under. Knicks, 38.5.
Think about it now, boys.
Lottie.
Think about this one now, boys.
They already got one loss.
What's the number? 38.5?
Yep.
Slightly over. Just trying to be optimistic.
In the playoffs or
they're
not?
tough to watch. I think they're going to be in that playoff scenario. Oh, the play-in scenario.
Love Thibodeau. I'm going under. Randall.
You are Thibodeau.
Yeah.
You're
well,
like the same guy.
I'm going over. And if you watched them last night, they played tough in Memphis. They played tough. I'm going
If
over.
Reddish plays as much as he should, he'll be a difference.
40 wins.
You know what Thibodeau's nickname is? Angry Thibodeau, as of right now.
Chloroseptic.
I'm going over. Orlando Magic, 26.5. Varsity, by the way. This is varsity.
I'm going slightly over on the Magic. They get a lot of young guys. I think they're going to put you okay this year.
Under.
Definitely over. Super athletic team. A bunch of young guys play their butts off.
Yeah, I think
Suggs is on that team.
I agree. I think they're building the right way. I think they go over.
Sixers, 50.5.
Over for me. They're going to find that chemistry.
I'll go over with Philly. They're very good too. Just not in the Celtic class yet.
I'm going to go under just because the Eastern Conference is so tough. You play them, I don't see it.
I think
Slightly
they get
under.
the 2 seed. I think they're going to get the 2 seed over. Raptors,
Well, who do you got coming in third?
Bucks.
Raptors, what is it?
Bucks got
46.5 Raptors.
Bucks rely a lot on one guy. I know he's awesome and healthy and young and flexible. He got to be out there.
They got Middleton and Holiday. They're tough.
Yeah, but I'm saying if
Middleton's
they
hurt for
ever
like
played a
6
stretch
weeks.
without him.
Middleton's out for like 6 weeks.
All right, Raptors, 46.5.
Over. They always find a way to get more wins than you think they're going to.
I'll agree with that.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
North.
Over.
Under.
I'm getting a North jersey for Lottie. Washington Wizards, 34.5.
Under, whatever
No
the
Jordan.
number is. Under.
I'm going over. Washington.
Beal going to be there the whole year?
Just signed a max contract. Nobody's trading for that.
Yeah, no kidding. You're right. Over.
I love the uniforms. Over. Classic unis, by the way. All right, almost Yankee time, except for right now, we're going to be talking about college basketball in our first segment of the year. The UConn Huskies, former member of the Horde. If you're not familiar with the Horde, the biggest group of reporters that followed a team around was the group that followed the UConn Huskies around. And you'll never guess who always had his pocket protector, a whole bunch of pens, a little pad, chicken scratch on the pad, and his little cassette recorder, none other than the almost new commissioner of baseball, the commish.
Yeah, I remember when I was covering the team, some of the bigger newspapers would refer to me as a mid-major, and I was a high-playing mid-major back then. So as luck would have it, as I start my first foray into this podcast, I went to UConn last week. Man, has that campus changed. I drove on, I didn't even recognize it from the days when I was there, and Bobby and I were roommates there. It doesn't look anything like it did in the 90s. I'm hoping the basketball team this year looks like they did in the 90s. They got some pieces. Obviously, the big news out of stores is Andre Jackson. Broke his pinky on his right hand. He's going to be out until at least November 23rd when they play Oregon. This will give plenty of guys some chance to show themselves, especially the transfers. So I guess, I like Andre. He does a lot. They've talked a lot about him playing point this year. Just your thoughts on, Andre being lost.
It's a huge loss. Last year, tremendous improvement. The most athletic guy they have.
Hurley's pretty athletic, though. The old man.
Might be
Good
their
workout
best.
on the sideline.
Jackson might be their best defender also.
Yeah.
It's a huge loss. Hopefully he's back soon.
I know, crushing.
Andre Jackson, a jump shot away from maybe having a career and making some money, huh?
I think so. Yeah, I mean he's definitely a freakish athlete, and obviously they've talked about him being the point guard this year. It's going to give a chance to some of the new guys, some of the transfers coming in. We got Joey Calcaterra, Naheem Aline, Tristan Newton and Hassan Diarra. All those guys are going to get a shot this year. I think it's going to be good for them. Get a month under their belts without Jackson, who's arguably their best player in the backcourt. And we'll see what happens from there.
Any chance we see Sanogo pass this year?
I don't know. He is the Big East Media Day was last week. He is chosen as the Big East Player of the Week, which is something I was going to touch upon.
Week or year?
Big East Player. I'm sorry, preseason Player of the Year.
Preseason player of the year.
I'm sorry about
they
that.
they needed him to score. I mean, all these transfers, like who else is scoring? Do we know who's a potential scorer besides?
Young man from Bristol,
Hawkins.
maybe?
We're going to need Hawkins to score a lot.
Boy, Sanogo 15 feet and in is tough.
Yeah,
Boy,
and
is he tough.
And he gets bigger and stronger every year. So
I just wish that he was playing in the 80s or something like
Yeah,
that.
he has
You know what I
post
mean?
moves.
That's what I was going to
I
say.
love it.
How-
He has post
uh,
moves.
You know, he got old man game in a young guy's sport. I mean, this new prospect. How do you pronounce the guy's game again? The 8'2" guy that's hitting threes. How do you say his name?
Wembayama, something like that.
Man,
Pretty
we
close.
need to get him. Johnny,
Yeah.
how you think we're going to do in the Big East?
Well, the coaches think we're going to finish fourth. That's the Big East Media Day. That's where they have finished fourth, behind Creighton, number one. Creighton's tough, but UConn had a good year last year. I'd like to see them, continue, get a little bit better, make a run the tournament. But I think they can be pretty good this year.
Are we an NCAA tournament team? this year?
Yes, I think so.
I think we're going to get a lot of calls because the coach really behaves himself. He's built up a good rapport with officials. I think we're okay there.
Listen, nobody likes defense more than we do. They got to be able to score the ball a lot easier, though. Man, they really grind out these possessions. Don't get a lot of easy buckets, even in transition, as much as you would think.
Right.
When's the last time they really had a knockdown shooter? Hopefully one of these guys steps up.
I think Jordan Hawkins is going to be
Yeah.
that for them. That's the guy that they're hoping.
He looks, not to project, he looks like an NBA player body-wise and the way he plays. He was very inconsistent last year. They need a big year out of him.
Right. He can create off the dribble. He's a good spot-up shooter. He's going to be a big key for them this year. If you have Jackson, him going, and Sanogo in the post, you're looking pretty good.
And if Sanogo needs a break, we got a guy from Bristol ready to step in, dominate the paint.
You have two guys from Bristol this year. I was looking at the roster, right? We have Donovan and we have Andre Johnson, who is a South Kent product.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
he didn't
That's
he didn't
right.
play high school basketball in Bristol,
Right.
but yes, he is a
that's right.
Bristol product.
But I've seen that he played with Donovan and their kids a little bit, and so that's. I mean, when's the last time we've had two Bristol kids on the UConn team?
He's not even
Steve and Tim
Connecticut.
Even Tim Peichel. Can we get them
Oh
on
man,
here,
let's
please?
go.
Anybody know Tim Peichel?
Can we get
Is he
them on
around
there
anymore?
on the podcast?
Well, he's asked to be a guest on the podcast, so we're holding him at bay for now. But that's a neat tidbit there.
I got a question for you guys. How much does Big Donovan play this year? Does he right away? Does he get significant playing time from day one? I mean,
Well-
it's going to be tough with.
I have a
Yeah.
hard time answering this because I just want to pull for the local product, but this is a new era too, with these programs, and without acting like I know what I'm talking about, I mean, if you don't get enough minutes, in the middle of the night, you could go to the next program. So I think they got one, I think he's talented enough. Two, you can't teach size, and then three, if they want him around there for more than a little bit, they got to play him, and I don't know. I think yes, I think they got. him.
I think he plays, and obviously we've seen him play. He's got a smooth jump shot. He's got a great feel for the game. His footwork is solid. What an unbelievable passer at that size. I think he definitely gets backup minutes
Good
when
teammate.
Sanogo needs a blow. And just from some of the things that I've heard, they're going to go a lot of 4 out, 1 in. Maybe he situates himself on that baseline a little bit, that 16 to 18 foot game if they go two bigs at once.
Can they? That's my question to you. Can they play both of those guys at the same time?
I don't know. I think this is finally like Hurley's guys, Hurley's teams, and I think he's trying to do something a little bit different offensively. Donovan is definitely there's no doubt about the skill in terms of the rigors of the Big East and getting up and down and getting bodied. Only time will tell. I know he's put the work in the off season. He's got a lot stronger. He's dedicated himself. Like Bobby Mack said, we're obviously rooting for him. I think he definitely plays some decent minutes, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what he gets done is going to determine what he does in the weight room. You know what I mean? He really, if he adds some strength and, like you said, he can shoot. And he's 7 foot, so I mean that doesn't hurt. He is backing up the Big East Player of the Year, the preseason Player of the Year, which, but yeah.
Not too shabby for the Bristol kid. We're rooting for him.
I got another question for you guys. Hurley, this is year 5. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So it's obviously his program, his team, his guys, and he has a fantastic class coming in 2023. Are we going to start winning? Because he's talked about championships a lot when he first got the job. We're going on year 5. Can we?
We sniff one.
Yeah. Can we start playing
win
this?
an NCAA game, right? Jeez, let's get on a Sweet 16 would not be a, Jeez.
That's what I'm asking. Is it
Yeah.
Is it a possibility? Can we get a Big East tournament championship or something?
I hope so. As an alum, Jay, Angry Jay, hope so. I got to say this though: winning those tournament games, become a lot more invested in other teams in the tournament lately, and like, it just seems so hard to win games in March, and I think it's really under appreciated how hard it is. And you get these teams going, oh, can we get here? Oh, we're a Big Eight, Elite Eight team. How do you know? You're playing great teams in that whole tournament. Look at the little team from wherever they were from last year,
St.
Brooklyn
Peter's.
or whatever.
Yeah, Jimmy Calhoun figured it out though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't figure it out in his first 5 years. And we had to change the type of guys we were getting, and he changed the way he recruited.
There's so
many
many
years.
good teams out there. Like
That's
you
my
said.
point.
Well,
There's-
that's
those-
where the game has changed because kids want to go somewhere where they can play right away, right?
Right.
There's no more waiting my turn. And like Bobby Mack alluded to with the transfer portal and guys are moving around at the free agency type of situation. Like last year they lost to New Mexico State. They had that one stud. Besides that, you really didn't know any other guys, and UConn lost by 7. Hey, Kentucky lost in the first round too with all McDonald's All-Americans. I just think the college game is so hard to predict. And like Bobby Mack said, it's tough to win games because the parity is real in college basketball.
Well, the run that St. Pete's made and then Loyola for a few years there, these are guys you never heard of, teams you almost never heard of, unless you're really a diehard.
We're a big time program, so let's start winning some postseason games. That's all I'm asking.
Angry, I think it's the year
It's about time
For
we
the-
start winning some
for the
ALCS
Huskies.
games too.
for the Huskies
This is crap.
and Eastern Connecticut to advance in the NCAA tournament.
We got to get there first.
Angry Jay, member of the staff at Eastern Connecticut. Another local product, Dominic Dow out of Terryville. Season tickets go on sale yet, Angry?
Oh yeah,
Or is there any
standing
left?
room only. Standing room only.
Well, I'm going to be at one of the early ones. I did look at the schedule the other day. You guys got a tournament early on?
We have a couple. Yes,
One? Are you hosting one?
we are hosting 2.
Are you hosting 2?
Well,
Okay.
Not one.
Yeah, I'll be there. All right. Enough of this. Football, basketball. All right. That's what my dad would have said. It's Yankee time. The game's going to start.
It is
Let you
starting.
know how wrong we are tomorrow. I hope we're not. I hope I'm right. I hope Angry. Lottie's wrong.
I said
me
Yanks
and the
win
commish-
tonight. I
me
said
and the
Yanks win
commish
tonight.
got it. Even Jeffy's got
Let's
it.
put the ball in play
Oh,
tonight.
not tonight,
Please
either.
put the ball in play.
All right. No 17 strikeouts tonight. Let's go, Yanks. See you next time. LODMAC_Yanks. Get on that YouTube and subscribe. Stepping it up every week. We're stepping up. We got some new stuff every week. Mr. Callett in the house next week to talk about the G-Men, Bristol Central
Big
students.
blue, baby.
Mr. Callett, also known as Mr. Callett. All right. Go, Yanks. Good night, guys.